All right, welcome to our second episode of Moments Off the Mat. We are here with our national team coaches as well as our high performance manager. I'll introduce you guys if you guys just wave so they know who everyone is. We have high performance manager Cody Bickley, head men's freestyle coach Bill Zadek, head Greco coach Matt Linlin, and head women's freestyle coach Terry Steiner. So I just want to start today off with, obviously, we got the official news of the postponement of the 2020 Olympics until next year. With Bill, what was your gut reaction and what was a message that you were sending out to your athletes when you heard this news?
Yeah, obviously we're disappointed that we have been focused on this Olympic Games for a long time. And so it's disappointing, but in light of where we're at currently in the world, I think it makes sense, and you could kind of see it coming. So I don't think it was a major shock as far as the announcement goes. But the message that we were sending out to our athletes, we actually had a Zoom video call just shortly afterwards this morning, and it's just stay focused on the things that are most important, and which is our family, our faith, and everybody keeping healthy and beating this disease, and then control the things that we can control. Fortunately, we actually had a guest this morning, Coach Tony Dungy, and just asked him some questions and sought his wisdom, and he was really inspiring and enlightening, and basically echoed those same remarks as, stay focused on the most important things and control the things that you can control, and just expect excellence from yourself in what you have the ability to impact at the time. So that's kind of what where we're at right now. I think you're muted.
You're on mute.
I muted myself, sorry. Matt, what was your initial reaction to the news this morning?
Well, I think it's a blessing that we're going to have the games. Worst case scenario, we could have just canceled the games. So I'm excited for the athletes. I'm like Bill said, a little disappointed that it's not going off as scheduled. But in light of the situation, the circumstances, it's probably the wisest decision to make. I'm glad we've made the decision and that we're going to move forward. I don't think we know when the games are going to exactly be scheduled, but it sounds like a Summer Olympics, so we can pretty much imagine that it could be about the same time as they were this year scheduled. So we're going to have the Olympics. That is a blessing, so for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Terry, I know your athletes have been, on top of seeing the group chat. They knew that this was kind of coming as well. What was your reaction? What did you tell them?
Well, a lot like the other coaches, I think it's important to just understand where we're at in society, right? And there's some things in life that are more important than sport, and clearly one of those times in our lives right now that is unprecedented, and it really, I think it shows everyone that we're not in control of a lot of things, and these are one of the things that we have to stop and take a look and prioritize what's important. And as important as sport is to all of us, and has been in all of our lives, and is currently in the athletes' lives, I think they all realize that there are more important things, and serving humanity right now is a lot more important than carrying on at the games. I actually think they're relieved because now they have some time to step back and do the right thing from our guidelines from society and what they want us to do to get rid of this coronavirus, and just I think it would have been hard to go on with the games in place, even if they would have had the games this summer. I think it would have been really hard in their minds to justify doing that, and so I think everyone realizes that it was great they got the information, but it was the right decision. course, there's disappointment because they were so heightened, and really forward to this moment. At least it's still coming next year, and they'll still have the opportunity out there. But at the same time, they're doing. I think they're doing the right thing, and I think the athletes feel like the right decision has been made. So we're just trying to, focus on, the things we can control. I mean, right now we talked a lot about just really keeping the communication lines open, being a team, helping each other out, supporting each other, lifting each other up, motivating each other, and ultimately we can come out of this whole scenario stronger and more united as a team, even though right now we're distanced physically. Mentally, we can really stay connected and maybe connect better in some ways than we ever have. And then the other thing is just do what they can, right? Do what they can from a fitness level and do that. Wrestling will be here soon enough. And I think so many times in life we always looking at ways, we look at our lives and everyone's so busy, and this is maybe a blessing and maybe what needed to happen. And I think it's time to cherish the moments we do have, and the downtime and the slower pace, and the craziness is going to come back and it'll be here soon enough. And so I think it's really just cherishing the moments we do have right now with our families, and use it as a time to reprioritize what's important.
Cody, we'll kick it over to you. Obviously, we don't have all the answers of when's the trials now, or what all is affected by this, but what do you know so far about how this affects Team USA, not just at the senior level, but at those age group levels as well?
Yeah, obviously the ball really got rolling this morning when we all woke up to the news, and obviously in Japan it was evening over there, and they'd went through obviously their day and made some big decisions, obviously, and then we woke up to it and we had calls that were scheduled, and that today is essentially, as the coaches talked about, we at least know a little bit more, and that's been the biggest thing for that's been hard on the athletes. And Bill and Matt and Terry have been doing a tremendous job with leading calls and talking to our athletes the best we can, providing them the most up-to-date information that we can. But I think, Taylor, with what you talked about, this is going to trickle on, and we're going to have to be patient. And what I mean by trickle on down is it's not just going to affect our Olympic team and how they prepare and what the schedule looks like for them. As you know, we have U23 World Trials events and championships coming up, and juniors and cadets and U15 Pan Am events that are going on. You're supposed to go on this summer, and we'll start to see the ripple effect on that in the coming days, weeks, and maybe months. We really don't know, and I know that's the hardest thing for coaches and athletes right now, is to hear that we don't know. But we're gonna, as soon as we can, we're gonna work forward on that, and with what's safe. But I think our coaches said it best. Right now, it's a time to slow down a little bit because, as Terry said, it'll come back soon enough. And I know there's a lot of unanswered questions out there, and all getting asked, well, when is the date? When is this going to happen? And the best advice we can give right now is that we're in a little bit of a holding pattern, and we need to let this play out a little bit. We need to focus on slowing this virus down as a world, not just a country. And that's where our effort should be right now, taking care of our family, our friends, and loved ones. And Terry's right. The madness and the craziness will come back soon enough, and wrestling will come back. And I have no doubt that based off the people that we work with on a daily basis and the athletes and coaches that we have domestically, if it is next summer for our Olympic team, they'll be ready to go.
Unmuted myself. So where are you guys at physically right now? Because I know, Matt, you're not in Colorado. So where are you guys at, and where's the rest of your coaching staff?
Well, Gary is in Missouri with his family. I'm out here in Oregon. I've been staying out at the coast in Oregon. I just came back into Portland today to pick up my daughter here at my gym in Portland, Oregon, Team Quest, and we're going to head back down to the coast right after this call. Actually, I'm going to get my daughter, and we're going to head down to the coast and see Coach Muhammad staying in Colorado Springs. So he was kind of the last guy there, but that's where his family lives. My family lives out here.
Coach Bill, where are you at?
I'm home right now with my family. I have of course a 6-month-old daughter. Today's actually her 6-month birthday, so it's one of the blessings of this time is I'm at home with my wife and my daughter, and so we're here, Colorado Springs, and the rest of our staff, Coach Russell and Coach Jackson, I think are here locally as well right now.
Coach Steiner?
Yeah, and I'm in Colorado Springs. I'm fortunate to, that what the circumstance that brought is, she's in her first year of college, and so that's she's all online for the rest of the semester. So she's home early. So she's home here with me. My wife right now is actually as a flight attendant, and she's actually out flying right now. The airlines are still running about 20% of their operation domestically. So she's up there doing that, and we'll see where that. It seems to be changing daily with their situation, but. And Coach Clarissa Chan is here in Colorado Springs, and just Coach Jessica Medina is also in Colorado Springs. We didn't know for a long time what was really happening, and now it seems like things are going to be shut down for some time. So we were just staying close to if things did open up, and if we could be with the athletes and things like that, we wanted to be available. But it looks like. That's not going to happen for some time, but I think we're going to all stay pretty tight, close to home.
Cody, you want to share?
Yeah. So this was this was traditionally going to be my 10-year-old son's spring break. Spring break week, and obviously schools got disrupted, but we for quite a while had a trip to the mountains scheduled, and so with everything going on, we went ahead and made the decision, even though the ski resorts are shut down. We decided to get away from the city a little bit, and we're up in the mountains. And actually, my son and wife are out for a walk in the mountains right now, and I'm going to join them here in a little bit. But we just decided that we wanted to get away for a little bit. And as you know, Taylor, we as an office, we're shut down, meaning that we shouldn't be. We're following the governor's recommendations to not be in office. And that date is April 17. So we're in flux a little bit. We're working remotely, but I'm just going to kind of be popping around. But for now, that's where I'm at.
All right. Matt, you kind of mentioned it, and Cody a little bit as well. Now that you guys aren't running practices and now that you're not in office, there's just a little bit more flexibility to your days. So what are you guys doing now that you normally don't have time to do? Matt, you mentioned going to the coast, like things like that. So I guess we'll start with you. What are some more things that you guys are doing out there in Oregon?
Well, mostly we've just been fielding calls and checking in with the guys, doing some film work. But, just trying to figure out what's the next step. And I think we're really, knowing that the Olympics are going to be postponed, now we can start to make some plans moving forward. It'd be nice to get some more information, more dates, but right now, I mean, I've just been kind of hunkered down. I've got 27 acres out there. I shot Bill a picture of the elk in my yard across the street yesterday. I know he's a big hunter, and so just my wife and I were out hiking either on the beach or up in the mountains. I mean, it's a coastal mountain range, so. It's beautiful. You got the mountains and you got the beach right there all together in one. It's right on the Columbia River. I'm about as far north as you can be in the state of Oregon, and it's about as far west as you can be in the state of Oregon right now.
Nice. Coach Bill, what are you and your family doing?
Well, like Matt said, and Cody, it's been busy, even though we're home. There's been a lot of communication, a lot of uncertainty with our athletes and our teams. And so we tried to increase our daily interaction, our daily communication with our athletes. We've done some Zoom video calls, lots of emails, and a lot of things going on behind the scenes now that we know that the games is officially postponed. It might give us a little flexibility to still be socially responsible and practice social distancing, but maybe allow us to get out and enjoy the outside a little bit, like Cody and Matt have talked about. Growing up in Montana, my family was I have a younger brother and a younger sister that are in Montana, and my parents also, they were up at a family property for the last week and a half, spending some time together and just kind of socially distancing, but still enjoying family and making sure everybody's safe. And so my wife is home and working, works for the USOPC, and they're, under the same restrictions as, April 17. So, we've done some puzzles and played some cards and trying to do a little more reading and interacting with our daughter as she's developing and growing. And so staying pretty active with those things. And now that we're starting to have a little bit more information, maybe we'll get a little more time outside and enjoy Colorado.
Nice. Terry, what about you and Rick? How are you guys?
We've been doing a lot of communication with Zoom calls and things like that with the athletes, and just a lot more correspondence with the team, and just trying to keep everyone communicated to, and making sure that they're getting everything they need, and just being there for them, if they need to reach out and just talk, and then things that change over the course of a time like this with the coronavirus. I mean, I know the coronavirus is growing exponentially across the United States, and in my house, the only thing that's growing here is my honey to-do list. So that's it's keeping me busy. It's there's been a lot of things added that we put off for a lot of years and just haven't had the time to do. So I find myself doing a lot of things around the house that I haven't had time to, and so trying to be productive during.
Cody, I'm going to switch gears for a second, take it back to you, just because it was something I thought of. We just had our Pan American Olympic qualifier, and the other regions haven't had theirs. So how does this postponement for the Olympics affect the Pan Olympic qualifier, or does it at all?
So, Taylor, that's a good question, and a lot of people are wondering that. A lot of our athletes are wondering that. And I would start out by saying we don't know the answer to that 100% definitively as of today. Rich Bender, our executive director, has been in strong communication with UWW and IOC board member Nenad Lalovich, and he's been in communication with him quite regularly. And we, obviously, as USA Wrestling, and are putting forward, obviously, a recommendation that we would like to keep the quotas in place that are already essentially qualified, the countries that are qualified. And Taylor, as you know, just to reiterate to our fans, that we're at 50% right now, 6 from the Kazakhstan World Championships, and then 2 from the Pan American, and we still have half of our field to set. The 3 continental qualifiers, as you mentioned, and then the World Last Chance qualifier, where they take 2 from that event as well. But we do have, hopefully, and we'll be pushing and have strong indication that they would just try to get the remaining 3 continental qualifiers in, as well as the world qualifier, and go from there. Because as we know, we're still going to be dealing with a pretty tight time frame when you look at it, even by going to next summer, if that's what they end up doing. So we don't know, Taylor, what that looks like exactly, but we're hopeful that they will keep essentially the 8 quotas that are in place per bracket, I would say, right now, and then just move forward from there to fill the remaining 50% of the field.
Okay.
And Taylor, this is Terry. On the UWW post they put out this morning, it does say the decision to delay will have significant impact on our athletes. and the remaining qualification process. So just that statement alone tells me that the quotas that have already been finished will hold true for 2021.
Yeah, we definitely hope so, Taylor, and obviously just being a little bit selfish on that, but it makes a lot of sense as well. And Rich Bender was talking about on a call this morning. I mean, just think about that too logistically. If you were to just start completely over and not even have 50% of the field set, you're creating a big hurdle there as well. So it's kind of which one do you want to deal with? Do we start all over, or do we literally just try to get the remaining 50% set? So I'm sure there'll be arguments on both case, but that's definitely what we prefer, is the stick with what's, I guess, in the bank right now and move forward from there.
Yeah, let's hope so. You said all 3 teams had great performances in Canada. We will wrap this up with one last question. This is for the coaches. Are there any athletes that you guys have seen take a leadership role in these last 2 weeks with all this craziness going on, or people that have really impressed you, or athletes that have really impressed you? We can start with Bill.
We're blessed, and I'm sure the other coaches feel the same way. I'll let them answer for themselves, but our staff, we just feel uniquely blessed with our team and the team culture that we have, and all of our team. They've just really, as Terry said in the beginning, tried to get them to even bond and become stronger. Coach Russell had a connection where we were able to put this conference with Dungy, and he emailed it out and had a ton of guys come back with questions and things for Coach Dungy, and just things that are apply to the whole group and help everybody, right? And so, our athletes, I all of them kind of stand out. I'm just been really encouraged amidst the challenge that we're facing. I've been encouraged by what our team has done and how they've responded individually. Wrestlers, we all kind of pride ourselves in that we tend to shine amidst the challenge, and I've really seen that amongst my team. Our team leaders, of course, are great leaders, but the other members have stepped up, and they're showing their colors and why they are exceptional people and why they're doing what they're doing. So it's been, like I said, we're all challenged, but we're starting to see some really deep character emerge from our people.
Let's go to Coach Steiner.
Yeah, so I think that we have a very great team right now, and I think they feed off each other very well. I don't think there's any one person individually that has stuck out, but I think there's just a lot of communication amongst all of them, and it's nice to see that they're helping each other along and bonding together and staying together, and I think that's important. The one thing I heard the other day was they're talking about social distancing, and they said really someone said it should really be called physical distancing and socially connecting, and really that's really what I've seen, and the girls have done a great job of just doing what they can do and controlling what they can control, and keeping their eyes on what they can control. So it's just been great to see. I think the best comes out, and when we see adversity like this and hard times, I think it brings out the best in people, and train for this. Wrestlers we train every day for dealing with adversity and dealing with obstacles and figuring out how to get around them and through them, and here we are in the middle of a crisis, and I think that the athletes, they're ready for it. They trained this way their whole lives, and they're ready to handle adversity and deal with circumstances that arise, and that's really, as a coach, that's really what you want to see. You hope that what we're teaching is not just left on the wrestling mat, that it's brought out into their lives and life situations, and that's really what we're seeing now. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be around these athletes and this organization, and I think everyone has done a great job of just keeping the eyes on the ball and moving forward.
Awesome. Coach Lemon, what have you noticed about your team in this time?
Well, I think it's been happening before this happened, and certainly at the Pan Am qualifier. I mean, our guys were there for each other, and I talked about that in a couple other interviews, that these guys really leaned on one another and used the resources from just the connection to get through that qualification tournament. Every one of these guys are a light and just shining, very brightly. They're living by faith and not by fear. And we're moving forward. I mean, that's really what it's about. It's not looking at the negative. It's looking at what we control, what we can affect ourselves, and just doing what we can do off the mat. Can we do push-ups? And I know the guys are doing a great job of communicating with one another, because I'm on a couple other group chats besides the national team. All the residents have a chat with the facility users that live in Colorado Springs. They're putting out push-up challenges and doing just fun stuff, that keeping everybody engaged and involved. But they are being responsible and, like Terry said, physically distancing rather than socially distancing. They're more socially connecting, like Coach said, but doing a great job of physically distancing and following the guidelines that have been set by our federal and state authorities. We're doing great. I mean, things are going to move forward. Wrestling's going to continue. I'm super happy to see that the games are going to go on. And these guys' dreams aren't going to be shattered because there's no Olympics this year. That would be worse than anything, just not having a game. So knowing that we've got that to look forward to, we don't know the time frames and what that looks like, but we're going to adjust as we did for this, and we're going to continue to move forward and grow out of this adversity and get better.
Awesome. Does anybody have anything else to add?
Thank you for hosting this, Taylor.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time. We appreciate you guys. Have fun doing what you're doing, and thanks for everything.
Thanks,
You bet.
Taylor.
So, bye.